Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. Another great program ready for you. In the first hour, we're going to have our guest from My Digital Shield. It's going to talk about online security, how you can protect yourself with software and hardware that's designed to do that type of thing on a business class level. And we have the company's CEO, Andrew Bagran, is here with us. And in hour two, computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting in about a minute.
1 minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I am your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Hey, welcome, Ben. Tuesday. You had school today. How'd it go?
School.
School. Okay. Well, we got a great show planned for you tonight, as we always do. Of course, in hour two, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to talk about security. For those of you who get our weekly email newsletter, the show reminder, it was a last-minute switch. Our guest who was scheduled to be on tonight's show, which was TeamViewer, yeah, exactly. That basically they're going to be rescheduled to a different show. We had a couple of changes. I know we had TrueTag Technologies going to be rescheduled. We're going to have WeMagine is going to be on tomorrow night. Limitless Computing is going to be on Thursday, and then we're back on track with Allure Technology on Friday. Just some updates. It's live broadcasting, and these things happen from time to time. And quite frankly, if you didn't get our weekly email newsletter, the show reminder, which outlines the entire lineup for the week, you would never know. But for those of you who do get it, and you're going, "What happened? We're supposed to." Well, we just had some last-minute changes, and that happens on live broadcasting. So, but enough of that. As I said, if you have a comment, question, or suggestion for our guest tonight, we certainly welcome your phone calls. You can give us a call at 347. 884-8881. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. We also have a special email inbox set up when we're live and on the air. It is live, L-I-V-E, at ComputerAmerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive IRC chat room. From our homepage, you'll see it says Interact with the Show right in the homepage, in the middle of the page. And the one button there says Chat and Live Video. If you click that, you'll see a split screen there. On the left-hand side, it'll say Connect to Freenode IRC. That's for a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Then you have to put a captcha code, which is either a number or a word. That just authenticates the fact that you're a live human being and not a robot. And click the Connect button, and your browser will move you into the live IRC chat room. We also have a button beneath that for some IRC clients. So if you want to format the chat room in a more pleasing visual manner in its own window, depending upon the browser and the operating system you're using, we have a version for you that you can add later on. But that's completely up to you. And then also on the right-hand side of that same page is our Live Computer America video streaming page. And there, because you not only can listen to the show, but you can also watch the show. You can see myself, you can see my co-host, and you can see our guests sometimes as well, as you will be able to do in this first hour. So that's pretty much how you interact with us, and we welcome you to join us or call us here on the program. So anything else before we get started, Ben?
No, it sounds like pretty much everything.
Okay, well, let's do it. The company that we have on tonight is called My Digital Shield. Now, according to them, it's a complete security solution for the small business, your business. Okay, My Digital Shield is very simple to install and use, and it requires no upfront investment and no ongoing maintenance. With My Digital Shield, you can thwart cyber attacks and data leaks before they happen with one simple piece of equipment that taps the power of the same security systems used by big business, but at an affordable price. Now, here to explain how it works in detail is Andrew Bagran. Andrew is the CEO of My Digital Shield. Andrew, welcome into Computer America. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So I kind of explained it a little bit, but why don't you, in your own words, kind of explain it? Because when I look at it, it looks like when you look at the piece of hardware, it looks like a switch or a hub of some sort. It reminds me of a hub, a little flat white thing. But why don't you tell us exactly what it is and how you came up with the idea behind My Digital Shield?
Sure. So I just want to go back a little bit to some history. So a few of us, we've been working in the security industry for quite some time, for 15 years, and everything we've done has been always around large enterprises. And everything any security company has done has been around large enterprises, and rightfully so, because those are the ones that spend the big money, right? But they were leaving out the 70 million small businesses and franchisees around the world. And the only reason they were leaving them out is because they couldn't assign those big paychecks. And as we're going along, part of my job was to work with some of the big security providers, such as IBM, AT&T, and Dell, and look at where can we find a new solution, or where can we apply security where it hasn't been applied, or in a way that hasn't been applied. Mm-hmm. So as we're looking at stats like, okay, let's look at the breaches around the world, see who's getting attacked, what's going on out there, we noticed that a large chunk of the breaches are all small businesses. You hear about Target and Kmart and Home Depot and all of these big companies, but for every one of those, there's hundreds of small businesses that you don't hear about because they're not newsworthy. So the idea is, hey, let's find a solution for them that's affordable. And we even did some market research with AT&T. Mm-hmm. And the problem is they came up with a number that was under $100 a month, that where the price range had to be, and it's something that a big company like AT&T couldn't really provide because just the way they function, they function like a big company. Okay. So that's where it called for a new startup like My Digital Shield.
Okay, so so basically this is a combination of software and hardware. Am I correct to understand that?
Yes. So ideally, we'd like to have nothing involved at the customer location, but the way we architected it was we wanted to leverage the cloud, and because we could build out if you will, a cyber good neighborhood out there that all of these small businesses can connect or virtually move their presence to, and get all those big defenses of that safe community. So what we had to do is take all of their internet and just tunnel it up to our cloud. So that's what that little device is for. All it does is it takes all your traffic and it just tunnels it up to our cloud securely, where we do all the scanning and do all the protections up there.
Well, what is it? Is it a router? I mean, what is in the hardware? How do you attach it to your computer?
So you just plug it into your internet, and everything in your office connects through the device. We call it a cloud link, because all it does is really it links your internet connection up to our cloud.
So where does it go? It goes before the modem. It goes between the modem and the computer. Does it go? I mean, where in the in the loop of everything? Where would you actually place this? Is this alongside your computer? Is it in the closet where all the network stuff is? I mean, how do you?
The wireless?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes. It is wireless. It is also wired, but you plug it right into your modem, and you plug everything else into it, either wirelessly or via wire.
So you've got the modem, you've got the cable going into the modem, which and then of course then out from the modem you go to everything else. So is it before it gets to the modem, or is it after the modem and between everything else?
So it's between the modem and everything else.
Okay.
So the
All right.
modem plugs into your cable, your DSL.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
And then everything else.
Got it. Okay. Now you say it's also wireless. So the connections are done. Everything is done wirelessly, or do you use the Ethernet connections to all the equipment?
You could use either one. So a lot of our customers that are in retail or that use credit cards, they would set up one network for the wired point of sale system and another network for wireless for their internal network. And then they have a third network, which is a guest Wi-Fi. So if you're a cafe or a restaurant, you could provide a hotspot for your guest Wi-Fi.
Now, how many do you need one of this equipment for each network, or will the one handle everything?
The one handles everything.
I'm kind of calling it the thing. Why don't we give it a name? What do you call it?
It's called the Cloud Link. And
Cloud Link. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason why we call it that is because we want to make it clear that it doesn't really do anything on the device from a security perspective. It links you or connects you up to our cloud where all of the security happens up there.
Okay.
If you like, an analogy would be, typically you plug your network into a firewall.
Yeah.
Well, this is like a very, very long cable that stretches across the neighborhood and up into our cloud, and you would plug it in there, but it does it virtually via VPN tunnel.
Now, do you still need a firewall, or do you need? I mean, what else? What is this? Does this replace anything that you would normally have in the loop, or is it something else that you add to it?
No, this would replace a firewall. So what we wanted to do is, there's a couple things that we saw out there in the world. Is first, all the good security devices out there, such as Fortinet and Checkpoint, they're extremely expensive. And even if you look at a small version of a FortiGate, it costs $2,000 up front and another $750 every year to renew. And that thing will really, really slow you down if you turn on all the bells and whistles. And on top of that, it's very, very complex and hard to configure. Fortinet's one of the best ones out there. They're rated top by Gartner, by Forrester, by all the analysts out there. But it's built for the enterprise. Even though they have a small box, really all they did is they said, let's take our great enterprise technology and shrink it down to a little box and still charge a lot for it. So that's where we came in, and we leveraged their technology. We built out a massive cloud, enterprise scale, and we gave the ability for small businesses to plug into it. So if you think about it, it's kind of like, in the real world, it's kind of like a gym. You can either build out your basement, buy $10 million worth of equipment, hire people to keep it up to date, to help you use anything, or you can pay $50 for a gym membership and go use it whenever you want.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward the $50 a month. Okay. I think here. So would you say that what you're doing with My Digital Shield is kind of unique from other security solutions? And why would you say that if you are?
It's unique for two reasons. The first one is to avoid things like having an expensive piece of hardware at the location, your business location. We're tunnel everything up to our cloud. Now, that's not completely unique. There are one or two other companies that do something similar to that. But where we're unique is we build it focused around the small business. The unique part is the way it's configured. We identify what vertical you are. So you go in and you say, I'm a restaurant. As soon as you say I'm a restaurant, it'll say, okay, which point of sale system do you use? You pick that. It'll say, are you on OpenTable? Do you use Avero? Who's your credit card processor? So it'll ask you questions that a restaurant owner will really understand, instead of going into a very complicated user interface and start asking you things that you have no idea. Okay, what's this IPS signature? What does that even mean? And where do I find the configuration? The problem is we've seen so many of these great FortiGates or checkpoints completely misconfigured, and the company doesn't even know that they're left vulnerable.
So if you say you're a restaurant, it'll ask you questions. In other words, that are unique to a restaurant environment. So I don't need. Do I really need to hire an IT guy on staff to do this, or is this something that the everyday person can do?
That's a good question. There's various everyday people, right? So some of our customers, they were able to set it up themselves, or cousin Jimmy is really good with computers and he helps them set it up. But we really try to leverage the channel and leverage that company's IT guy to help them set it up, because we want to make sure that it's plugged in, set up properly, and that he's involved however he can be. Because at the end of the day, it's still a piece of technology. And if you might be brilliant at cooking Italian food, but that doesn't mean you're brilliant at, connecting even the most simplest piece of technology. So we do try to get the IT guy involved.
Okay, so again, this is the hardware that you hook up, as you say, and you have it such that depending upon the kind of business that I'm in, it asks or prompts the right questions. I assume all this appears on the screen because you kind of retrofit it. I mean, let's say I'm bringing it into a setup that I already have. I'm already online. So now basically I have to unplug the connection from the modem, put the box, the cloud link in there, and then plug it back into the cloud link. It's that simple, right?
Yes, that's.
I assume there's also AC power. You have to plug in a power cord for it as well, right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yep.
And then I'm going to will everything work as normal, or is everything going to come to a grinding halt, and it's going to present me with a security screen of some sort with questions that I have to answer? Is that what's going to happen?
So if you haven't run the initial wizard, then what it will do is, if you open up a browser, it'll redirect you to our portal, and it'll force you to run that wizard.
Okay.
And it really takes like 1 minute to run the wizard.
Okay.
But the wizard, it'll ask you those questions about your business, but then it'll also ask you things to set your content control. So you could set it to lenient, you could set it to strict. We also label them as, PG-13, G, or R, just to make it, very obvious. And what that is it controls what type of content you allow your users to browse on the internet, or what applications you let them use on the internet. So you don't want Sally over there browsing Facebook all day long. So
sure.
you would limit that.
Now, it's strictly for a small business environment. I wouldn't put the cloud link, let's say, in my home, or on my home, or would I?
So we actually, funny enough, we do have some customers that are home users, and we've had a lot of requests about that. So what we've been doing is saying, okay, we'll allow you to have it at home. Just select other, and you should be good, and just use the content control. They really like the content control because it keeps their kids from doing things they don't want them to do, and they can also set it to where okay guys, it's 10 p.m. lights out, put it into strict, you're not getting out on the internet.
Well, that's why I asked you that question, because the moment you said, oh, you don't want Sally looking at this, well, then I said, well, would this be an ideal for a family environment? Because you do have these sort of like rather than boss controls, they're parental controls. It sounds like to me that you can use.
Right, exactly, and you keep the home safe at the same time, and that is a market that we want to get into. But we do want to keep our focus with small businesses at first, and then as we're doing that, and we're getting a lot of home-based businesses maybe, or just home users that really want this. And while we're doing that, we're learning a lot of lessons about how to, because the consumer market, it's a whole different market. It's already a big step for us going from enterprise down to small businesses, but then go from small businesses down to consumer. It's even another big step. So that's it's an area that we're starting to dabble in, but there's we want to make sure we do it properly.
Well, is My Digital Shield basically flexible enough? I mean, the hardware, the cloud link remains the same regardless of what you're using, and then you can just upload whatever software that's appropriate for the environment that it's going to be used in?
You don't even need to upload any software. It just it sits invisibly as the gatekeeper at the gateway. So there's no software to install. There's none of that. It's the wizard is through a web portal. So you just go to a web portal and configure it through there.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what kind of security threats the My Digital Shield protects its users from? I mean, can you give us some examples? Are we talking anti-malware? Are we talking antivirus? Are we talking adware? What are we talking about? What kind of threats are you protecting against? These security threats?
Sure. So basically, what we did is Fortinet's they're the leader in the space called Unified Threat Management or Next Generation Firewall, and what that means is taking all the different components of security and bringing them together to work as a whole. So I'll just rattle off some of them. So there's anti-malware and antivirus; those are kind of in the same group. There's advanced threat protection. There's IPS, which is intrusion prevention. There's DLP, data leak prevention. There's web filtering. There's firewall, obviously. So there's all these components, and Fortinet does a great job of bringing them together as a whole and protecting all those pieces of security all together. So what we've done is we've taken that and we've configured it properly for it to run on a small business based on your selection criteria. So you're a restaurant, you have this point of sale system, you do this. We configure it, optimally for that environment. So you really have all the protections. In fact, what we did, one of the big things, and I may be jumping ahead here a little bit, so interrupt me if I am. But one of the big things, what we did is one of our early customers said, okay, so I plug in this cloud link, and now I'm secure. And I said, well, yes. He said, well, how do I know? How do I know that? It's got really cool blinky LED lights, and how do I know I'm secure?
Good
I'm
point.
like, that's a good question, right? So he's like, okay, I look around and I have 4 solid concrete walls. There's a big lock on the door. There's an alarm system. There's security cameras. I can see that I'm secure physically, but how do I know? So I was sitting there scratching my head, and I'm like, I couldn't answer him. So I went out and did some research and looked, and the only thing I can find is big enterprise class systems to do security testing, like Spirent and Breaking Point, but they cost millions of dollars. So what we did is we built a free test tool as a way to make you aware of where you sit currently with security, and also to test, to show people, look, it really does do something. So the test tool is at www.shieldtest.com. And you can go there, and the test takes literally 30 seconds to run. And then whenever you run it, it'll give you a shield rating out of 5 shields. And what it does is it tests for a firewall, it tests for anti-malware, it does an infected zip file, it transfers it across the session to see if something will block it. It tests for IPS, so it'll do an attack on the client side, server side. It does a DDoS defense check to see if you have DDoS defense, and it also uploads credit card numbers to see if something's blocking credit card numbers from escaping your facility.
So you do was it the denial of service attack? So you do all of that. You test for all of that.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, because we protect from all of it. Those are kind of the basic things that you need to protect from security. So we check to make sure those basic things are there.
Now you offer, I guess, looks to me like 3 different plans here with the features. I mean, it looks to me like you're trying to protect them from identity thieves and hackers and that type of thing. But you have, I guess, it looks like you have something called 360 protection, and then 360 protection plus PCI, and then something called complete control. Are these just different levels that are available, or that users can choose from? What are the purposes of these different plans?
Sure, yes. So the first one, 360 protection, that gives you all of the security protection that you need from protecting yourself from outside attacks as a regular business. What the 360 plus PCI does.
That's like the firewall. I'm just looking at some of them here. Secure wireless, intrusion protection, malware/virus protection, denial of service defense, botnet protection. Oh, that's nice.
Right.
So malicious website protection, advanced persistence threat protection, quality of service for voice over IP. So if you're using a voice over IP system on your internet, you check for the quality of service. What does that exactly mean?
So what we do is we prioritize input and output buffers to make sure that if somebody's doing BitTorrent and you're trying to, like we're doing this call right now over voice over IP, we make sure that we prioritize the voice over IP over all the other traffic out there.
Okay, and then you have encryption. What kind of encryption do you use?
So we use AES 256 encryption.
Okay. And then reporting. What kind of reporting? This is you get a this is what you were talking about, making sure that to see how well protected you are.
No, so what I was talking about is just it's a simple test that you run, and it'll tell you where you sit today. The reporting that we provide right now, we just send out a simple email, and it'll say, look, Craig, you did great this month. There wasn't anything major. There's all kinds of businesses out there that suffered, but we got your back. We blocked 200,000 threats this month for you. Thumbs up, that type of thing. We're working on something a little more detailed where you could go in and actually see, okay, on my network, let's see what Sally did, let's see what Bob did. Hey, what's this YouTube that's been going on the whole month? Oh, that's Jim. Jim, what's going on? So you could actually, if you want to be big brother in your little company, you could do that as well.
Okay, got it. And then you add, in addition to those things, then you have 360 Protection plus PCI. What is that? So
PCI is Payment Card Industry. And that's a security standard that Visa, MasterCard, Amex discovered that they put out there a while ago. The problem is it's a little bit difficult. It's extremely difficult to follow for small businesses. Out of everybody out there, there's probably only 10% of all retailers are actually PCI compliant, and the other 90% are not. And the reason why they're not is because it's very, very difficult. So what we do is we focus. There's some easy stuff on PCI. The easy stuff is, hey, make sure you train your employees not to write down credit card numbers on pieces of paper. Make sure they put in passwords and don't hand them out to their friends. But the hard parts are, make sure you have network segmentation. Make sure you have a proper IPS that's up to date. Make sure you have malware protection across your network. Those are the more difficult things, and those are all the things that we accomplish. We configure specifically around that environment for customers who take credit cards.
So you have, in addition to that, you add suspicious activity monitoring. Now, what does that involve?
I'm sorry, you broke up there just a little bit. Say that again.
You list suspicious activity monitoring, which you add to PCI. So what is that?
Right. So I can give you an example. Actually, one of our early customers, it was, I think, maybe one of our early partners as well. They went out and they installed one of our devices at one of their customers' locations, which they had, I can't remember which one it was, but it was a desktop antivirus they had installed on all of their computers.
Right.
And right away we had, in the first hour, we had over 800 alarms go off. There's things trying to upload information, trying to communicate back to known bad locations that are like command and control, what they call command and control systems. So this is kind of the botnet activity. So right away, we alerted the partner. The partner called us back the next day and said he was there all night trying to clean it up. He said the malware disabled their desktop antivirus, made them think that they're protected, but in reality, it was just wreaking all kinds of havoc.
Wow, yeah, it's amazing. The malware becomes so sophisticated. Then you add a data leak prevention. What is that?
So data leak prevention is what it does is it looks for specific patterns in anything that's being uploaded. It's specifically meant to stop intellectual property, things like credit card numbers, social security numbers from being uploaded to anywhere at all, unless you specifically allow it. So that's enabled. That's part of that test on Shield test. Is it'll take credit card numbers and upload them to our server, and see if something blocks it. So it checks for that presence of DLP, or data leak prevention.
Okay. And then you also add isolated guest Wi-Fi. So I guess so if you're running like a Starbucks or something, you're running and you want to offer your customers Wi-Fi as a guest.
That's exactly it. In our configuration, it's just a checkbox. So you would go in and you check the box, enable guest Wi-Fi, and then all of a sudden there is in your location there is this guest Wi-Fi, and it's kept completely separate from your internal network. And we also, limit the activity. We give it lower priority. We make sure they're not running BitTorrent on there and that type of stuff. Right.
And then do they need a password as a guest, or they can just go in?
No. Right now we're keeping it just completely open. We have had that request, so we are adding a feature to where you can put a password on there.
And then so that's your second level here. That's protection, 360 protection with PCI, and then you have something called complete control, which adds three more things. Which is first which is everything we've just mentioned about, but then you also include web filtering. What's involved with that?
Right. So web filtering is that kind of like you mentioned parental control. So
Yeah.
that's limiting what websites you can go to. So no online gambling, no pornography,
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Right. And then application control?
So application control is since everything is not done through a web browser, it's different applications that you can limit. So you can say no Skype, no instant messaging at all, no file transfers, that type of thing.
Right. And then finally, secure remote access, SSL VPN.
Right. So is if you want to, you mentioned that you were having TeamViewer. That was supposed to be on there. So TeamViewer provides you the ability to get back into your network and to control a computer.
Mhm.
The old-fashioned way is to do it over a VPN. So we still, if somebody's not using a TeamViewer and they're still a little bit old-fashioned, we could provide them secure access back into their network. So it's basically they go to a website, they put in a password, and then they see bookmarks that will link them back that via VNC, remote desktop, or any one of those older technologies for doing remote assistance or anything,
Sure.
or remote support.
All right. Well, now, as you well know, October is a Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about how My Digital Shield, what My Digital Shield is doing about that, and what tips you can offer businesses. And we're going to continue on. Meantime, we're going to take a little break. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and on the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I are talking to Andrew Bagran, who is the CEO of My Digital Shield. We're discussing their hardware CloudLink and the software services on the program. We're going to break for some commercial messages, also our brand new advertiser sponsored Doodle, and also a new News Tips Bulletin Review with Marty Winston. That's all coming up. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No Hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Hiya kids, hiya. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the Axcel DV-LCD28 Peephole Cam. Now who's that knocking at the door? Some doors have windows, so you can see through that glass, but that glass tends to compromise personal safety and security. That's why many doors in apartments, some houses, some offices, have peepholes, where the glass is much smaller. It's really hard for anybody outside to see anything inside, but a lens can give occupants some idea of what waits without. We got in an alternative for review, the Axcel, that's ACCELE, DV-LCD28 Peephole Cam. The piece on the outside of the door that's just a lens in most peepholes is a video camera lens with this gizmo. A wire feeds through to the electronics pod, which goes on the inside of the door. The pod mounts there, so when that knock comes, you just push its power switch for a 10-second view on its color LCD screen, all powered by a pair of AAA cells. Assembly is easy, operation even easier. Bottom line, the Excel DVLCD28 Peephole Cam makes callers easier to see and ID at the door. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bullet Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. Marty Winston there with
I like
an
that.
alternative to the people. And, you know, it's weird that he did a segment about that because I just saw a picture this weekend of hotel rooms that use technology just like that.
That is very cool because, you know, even with a peephole, you know, if you're looking at it, you can see somebody standing behind it. You know, I mean, if there's like through and they look through it. Yeah. But you know there's somebody there. But this way you don't know that. You know they're looking at you. You know whoever's out there, but they have no indication that someone's actually looking at them, which I really kind of like. That is exactly.
And I think you can even record. You know.
Yeah.
That's security. But speaking of security, we have Andrew Bagran here from My Digital Shield, and we're talking all about security and this product that he has, and you know, I get that this kind of prevents all these cyber attacks and cyber threats and things like that. Is it still worthwhile, or can you forego the entire process of installing, individual firewalls and individual antivirus software on all of the computers connected to your network, or is it all just kind of like you don't have to worry about that on a case-to-case basis? It's all done, using the hardware.
In other words, does My Digital Shield replace all the other efforts that you would have to do, and basically does it for you? I guess that's the question.
Sure. So that's a very fair question, and in the security field, you never want to tell anybody that it's okay to have less security. You always want to have more and more and more, right? Because the more secure you are, the better it is. But at the end of the day, when you look at it practically, you could always make an argument and say, okay, well, look, My Digital Shield doesn't prevent this specific situation from happening. Okay, maybe not, but that's a very, very, very unique situation that doesn't happen very often anymore. I would say that for the most part, yes. If you're a small business, then yes, we absolutely can replace the desktop antivirus, that type of software, because at the end of the day, most of those small businesses, they don't even update that stuff. They don't do anything with it. They just install it and leave it alone because they're too busy running their business. So what we do is we make sure everything's updated, make sure everything is protected the right way. And yeah, I could absolutely say you can uninstall that stuff. You can have your computer running at optimal performance because you don't have that annoying piece of software now that everybody hates running there.
So that is nice, and it will definitely speed up your computer, no question about it. You know, you see these anti-malware products, and they claim, we'll run, and we won't affect computer performance, or it'll only be like 0.101, because we're doing it in a different way, but And
then they have so much active stuff that it takes up 40% of your CPU, and you're like,
Exactly. So for the most part, you're saying you can use My Digital Shield as a replacement for most of the anti-malware products that are out there.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's most of our partners are actually going in and replacing it, and the customers are loving it because a lot of times they're even paying less. I think the breaking point is somewhere around 7 or 8 computers. If you're paying for that many computers, there's a breaking point there, but you're getting much better protection, and it's not slowing down your computers, and there's nothing to keep up with.
So when I use My Digital Shield, is it on a per computer basis, or is it all the computers that are on the premise that using it? Is it a flat rate? I mean, how
it's a flat rate, all the computers on the premise.
That's
so we don't monitor or we don't stop it. Like, it's basically whatever your bandwidth is. That's the limit that you have.
Now, would you recommend this for we were talking about a use case with restaurants earlier. I mean, I can see where, you have like your business network, and then you have like a public access point, for all the customers and whatnot. Would you recommend something like this, for the customer side, or is this just for computers that would be, used for all your business?
You mean a separate one for just for the customer side?
Like if you wanted to use one for like a public Wi-Fi, people come in, they want to use the Wi-Fi. Like, would you recommend all the extra security for them, or is it just gonna, kind of slow it down and not be, advantageous for them?
So by default, we don't even enable. We just enable certain restrictions. So we do basic blocking. So if they go out to a known malware site, or they go to a link that's going to try to download something malicious, we will block that. But we don't enable all the IPS, the DLP, and all those other things on there. So we do some basic protections around there. But I guess it's an additional strain on our system. We want to keep it simple and keep the costs low, and keep the business network protected. That's something that that's one of the things. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the things we have heard about, and we may be adding it. I don't know if it's going to be an additional cost yet, or we have to look at running the numbers and everything and see if we can add that and still keep it at the same price, which I would love to do, because it seems like it's a great feature, but I definitely want to keep the price as low as we can, make it affordable.
Do you have any like user statistics? Saying, look, we were able to protect the companies that are using our the cloud link and are using My Digital Shield, and we're able to protect them from this, and this. I mean, do you keep those kind of statistics, or is that something that you use to kind of promote your services? How do you do that?
So I don't have them on hand. The biggest problem with having those type of statistics, it's very different. If you have open ports that are constantly being scanned and probed, and then they see a web server or they see something open and they will continue to probe it, there is tons of stuff going on there. The way we set it up is there's a firewall, and right away by default there's no open ports. Mm-hmm. So if somebody scans through once, they'll just keep going on to the next IP addresses, and they'll go right by. But we do see like a lot of things where people are trying to click on links, where we block that. People are trying to download something, and there's still a lot of activity of such. I don't have it offhand of how many there are in on average, but there's a lot of probes out there on the internet. You'd be surprised how much of your bandwidth's being used up by malicious stuff.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. No, I think that's the kind of world that we live in here. So, what are some of the major repercussions that small businesses are faced with, following an attack?
So this is kind of the scary part, and I think this is what really drove us to say, look, we really have to do something about it. Because before I get into answering the question, I'll explain why. To me, a small business, it's kind of like it's a way for somebody to realize their passion in life, right? If you work for a big company, you work for a big company, great. But if you love to cook Italian food, if you're a chef, a way for you to take that passion and turn it into your lifestyle is a small business. If you love law, if you love accounting, if you love cars, if you love anything, small businesses in America is a way to turn your passion into reality. Yeah. And the problem is there's some crazy statistics. Like Symantec put out statistics said that 60% of all small businesses that experience a breach, they can't handle the impact, and 60% of them within 6 months close their doors.
Wow.
Yes. And it's a big problem, especially because if you're taking credit cards, a lot of small businesses don't realize this, but if you're taking credit cards, there could be malware on your point of sale system, and every time you swipe the customer's credit card, it gets uploaded to China or Russia or somewhere like that. And the problem with that is you don't know for a long time, and by the time you get a phone call from Visa or MasterCard saying, hey guys, we've narrowed it down, it's all coming from your location, and by the way, here's your bill, and the average cost, just the fines and fees, is $108 per credit card. Now, think about that. If you take 10,000 credit cards in 3 months, that's over $1 million just fines and fees that you have to pay for something like that happening. That'll cripple a small business.
You mean there's no protection involved? I know there's consumer protection, I mean, I've seen that happen, but You're saying there's no business protection. I mean, the Visa and Mastercards of the world don't offer those kind of same protections that they do to consumers to businesses.
Well, so here's the way it works. The Visa, Mastercard, they protect the consumer, right?
Yeah.
But in order for them to pay the 1-year credit monitoring, for them to go and send you new credit cards and do all that stuff, that costs quite a bit of money. Now, if you're the merchant that because of you, those credit cards got stolen, guess who's got to flip the bill?
The merchant?
Yep, the merchant has to pay for it.
Ouch. So,
like, as an example, PF Chang's, they got away pretty easy. They of all the credit cards that were stolen, they only paid $1 billion of fines and fees.
A billion with a B?
Yep, that's correct. $1 billion. Now they get away easy because they only paid. I think it was
$1 billion is getting away easy.
Well, now $1 billion's a lot, but it was only around $45 per stolen credit card, where the average is 108.
Holy mackerel.
They have good lawyers. They have great PR. They were able to do it somehow where they got away pretty easy with $1 billion. You know what? I love PF Chains, and they're still open for business, so that's good, right? We can still go there.
I don't know if I'd use my credit card there now.
And you know, and that's the other problem for a business. Even if you survive the financial impact, the problem is the statistic is 46% of the people surveyed said they wouldn't go back to a place that experienced a breach. So you're going to lose a lot of regular customers.
So if PF Chang's had been using My Digital Shield, they wouldn't have had to go through that pain and suffering?
Yeah, I don't know all the details and everything, but it's very possible. I'm not sure what they had for security. But
obviously not something not good enough.
Right. They had malware on the point of sale system, and what the malware, first of all, somehow the malware got there. So what we do is we prevent malware from getting in, and then the malware was sitting there and uploading credit card numbers off to some server somewhere. We also prevent that from happening. Yeah. So it's a strong possibility.
So that raises the next question. Let's say PF Chang's or a company that uses My Digital Shield, and you're doing all this, and for some reason, somehow, and the company now thinks, or the small business, okay, I'm safe now, and then all of a sudden they get the phone rings from American Express or what have you, and say, hey, guess what? All these things have been stolen, and now you're liable, and you owe us $1 billion. Does My Digital Shield who foots the bill? Is that you because you are guaranteeing the protection, or do they still have to pay, or what happens? What's available to the company?
So actually, it's kind of in the cyber world similar to the physical world, right? So PF Chains, they couldn't go and whoever they used for security, they couldn't go to them and say, hey, you said that I'm going to be protected. I bought your product. I paid you money. Right. So they can't really say that. And the same way is, you buy a lock on your door at Home Depot, or you buy a security system. If your house gets broken into, you can't really sue them and say, hey, look, you said I'm going to be protected. But what we're doing is, and I realize that's a problem, and it's very unsettling.
Yeah, it is.
It's really a risk reduction. So what we're doing is, if you're way up here of your possibility of getting breached, we bring you way, way down here. Okay. We provide you the best we can, the best that's available out there, right? But there's no way you can say, I 100% guarantee you. So one thing we're doing, actually, I spoke to a gentleman today. They finally got the program done from a company called Lockton. It's a cyber breach insurance company. And I talked to them earlier on in the year and asked if they could put together a program specifically focused around small businesses, because there was nothing out there for cyber breach insurance for small businesses. Oh. It was all very complicated, very complex, and it was all for large enterprises.
So you can't buy, right now you're saying you can't go to an insurance company and buy cyber protection?
Yeah, nothing's been available. Nothing's been available. They just launched the program. In fact, it's still in beta. It's not even publicly available yet.
So is that something you're going to work in conjunction with them? So you can say, hey, we're doing this, but you should need to protect yourself. You should buy insurance as well.
Yeah. So and what we're trying to do is say, look, why don't you take our product, look at it, test it, do everything you can, and what we're doing is we're reducing your risk as the insurer, right? So what we want to do is we want to offer the bundle package together and say, look, instead of your premium being extremely high, it's going to come down very low because you're using My Digital Shield. So we're trying to work together with them to at least offer something, like something that the small business can feel comfortable. and not have to have this constant thing. So My Digital Shield, we provide the risk reduction. We take you. So I'm throwing out a bunch of statistics, I know, but 97% of the breaches that happen out there, they could have been prevented with technology that's available. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to take that 97% and get rid of it completely as My Digital Shield. Now, we do realize that there probably still is those small, onesie twosies that very, very targeted, and those 3% are probably like, getting the JP Morgans or something that's very, very extremely sophisticated. I don't think the small businesses are necessarily a target of that type of attack. Mm-hmm. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to prevent, the things that they're not protected from today. And if they do want to take that extra step, that's why we're trying to work with the insurance companies to offer that extra protection. But we're trying to lower that price for them as well.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad that you are. I mean, it's nice that you're sort of like the vanguard here to get the shoe in the door to insurance companies, because I was not aware of the fact you can't buy businesses can't buy cybersecurity insurance.
Yeah, so large companies can. Again, I want to be clear. For small businesses, there was nothing viable. And I called around and I talked to at least 10 insurance companies, and none of them had it at all. Lockton was the only one that was willing to step up and say, we're going to be working on something.
Well, why haven't companies like Target, the ones that got hacked, some of the big names that we've heard recently, why were they footing the bill? What, didn't they have insurance, cyber protection insurance from some? You're saying it's been offered to enterprise companies.
Right. I'm trying to remember if Target had one specifically. I know that there's something going on with PF Chang's right now where their insurer is trying to say we're not going to cover some of the bill because you weren't protected properly. So it's this kind of weird game, Nobody wants to pay that big fine.
Obviously, but it was Target. What was the other one that got? Was it Office Depot?
Home Depot. I mean, a lot of big companies get hacked pretty often. So I mean, it's not rare that these companies are getting hacked.
Maybe because they're getting hacked so frequently that insurance companies, albeit enterprise for enterprise companies, they're not making it available even to the large companies anymore. It's too big a risk.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a big risk because the bill to pay is extremely huge. So I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting how things pan out. There's a lot of these weird things going on in the security industry right now. So depending on how they rule. Who's got to pay for what? It's going to determine a lot of things, how things go forward.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We stay on top of that. So tell me how My Digital Shield is selling. How are you selling your solution to your customers? How are you selling it?
Okay, so this is actually an interesting story. At first, we thought, oh, you know what? We're just going to go directly to the market to the small businesses, and they're all going to want it, right? Because who doesn't want to be protected? And we quickly realized that if I go to a small business and I start talking to them about hackers and cybersecurity, it's the same thing as if I'm talking to them that the aliens are attacking. They need to put on this tinfoil hat so they don't suck
their eyes glaze over.
Yeah, exactly. But the one thing we did notice is if their trusted technical advisor, it could be the guy that set up their point of sale system, it could be their NIC the network guy that sets up their printers, their network, whatever. If he goes in there and says, hey, look, guys, it's been fun. We've been driving without car insurance now for a long time, but now is the time to start protecting ourselves. And there's this great company called My Digital Shield that provides all of that, and you could actually afford it. It's not going to cost you millions. You could actually afford it. So if they go in there and they give that pitch to them, they tell them the story the way it is, then usually they go, okay, if you say that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do.
So you got to get in touch with the IT guys that are who's in charge with it, and that certainly makes a lot of sense. What does My Digital Shield cost? It's not millions of dollars, obviously. So what does it cost to the average? You have these 3 packages. I assume the 3 packages include the cloud link as well, right?
Yeah. So it includes everything. There's no startup costs or anything like that. It's just a monthly subscription. Okay. So I mean, and you can cancel anytime. We don't lock you into any long-term contract or anything. Okay. So you can try it out, check it out. Run the Shield test, see what's going on. You don't like it? That's fine. You can just go to your portal, click cancel, and you're good. And you're done.
Wouldn't it be better to run the Shield test before you install the My Digital Shield, and then do the test again after you've installed it? I would say before and after.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would suggest to everybody just go up there right now and run it, and just so that you get an understanding of how well you're protected or lack thereof.
What is the website again?
It's www.shieldtest.com.
Okay. So now and we have a link to My Digital Shield's website at computeramerica.com. Just go to our show notes page. It's right there on the home page. It's interact with the show. Just click the button that says show notes, and you'll see today's show, October the 21st, and you'll see My Digital Shield. You'll see Andrew Bagrin, who's with us tonight, and also there's a link there. So you can go to the actual website and see it for yourself. Now, do you have a link there on mydigitalshield.com for shieldtest.com? They can do it right there.
I believe so, but
if not, probably have that link there.
I have to ask my marketing company to see if they're promoting it right now. They change the content every so often, so it's there somewhere. It might not be on the front page.
Okay.
How's that?
You should put that on the front page and say, "Hey, click this and see how well it protects you." I think that alone should probably be a convincing.
Scared straight.
Yeah, it's scared straight. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the key is awareness. I just want everybody to at least know where they sit.
Yeah. Well, to be aware, click this link, and you will become painfully aware. So how much does it cost again? How much is My Digital Shield? You have the 3 different plans. How much is it?
Right, $69, $79, and $89. Those are the 3 monthly payments. That's it.
Easy enough to remember. Just talk to us a little bit about what you. I know you mentioned a few things, but what's on the horizon for My Digital Shield? What are some of the things that you anticipate, and what would you like to see as far as growth is concerned for your company?
So one of the things is we really want to maintain that focus on the small businesses right now, just because I think it's a big market and it's a big problem that needs to be solved. And once we get flowing with the small businesses and we raise the awareness and we get some adoption, there's a couple areas that we like to move into. One of them is we mentioned the consumer market, right? So the people that want to protect their home as well, because at the end of the day, people are starting to get a lot of things that are connected to the internet. My 10-year-old daughter, Amelia, she's got toys that have IP addresses and connect to the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been stories of baby monitors that somebody hacks into a baby monitor and starts making weird noises, and those things are pretty scary. And there's no software you can install in the baby monitor to protect it.
Nope.
The only thing you could do is protect yourself at the gateway, which that's what we do. So we definitely want to move into the consumer market, but the other thing is we want to make it even easier. And we're exploring different things, but I'm not sure where it's going to take us. My vision is to have a bring your own device. If you already have a Linksys, if you already have something like that, we want to see what ones are capable that you could just click some button and your Linksys will connect you up to our cloud.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the cloud is that residence or that secure neighborhood.
Do you foresee a different price structure for the consumer market than you have for the small business?
It'll have to be. It'll have to be for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Again, now if people want to they go to your website. Is this in stores, or you have to go to the website to make the purchase? How do you do that?
You have to go to the website to make the purchase.
Okay, and then what you ship them out everything they need to get installed, the cloud link, the software, or is the software just something they go on the website and download, the wizard?
It's actually just a web interface. There's no software at all to install. Okay. You just go to there's a link off of our homepage. You just click on login, and you log in, and you're good to go. But yeah, you get the whole package, everything you need to go to, all the instructions. There's a nice little video. It's a 3-minute video you can watch that will help you set it up and everything.
And what platforms are you compatible with? You work with PC, Windows only, Mac, Linux. What do you work with?
Everything from your phone to your tablet to your printer to Mac, PC. Because there's nothing to install.
It's platform independent then, really.
Exactly.
This is the way the internet was intended to be, but for some reason it isn't. I mean, you would think that I got a browser. It's platform independent. It should work, but as you well know, that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes things will just work, or it requires you have to have Internet Explorer. You can't use Firefox on a Mac, or whatever it is. So,
Right.
But a lot of that, the face of that is changing, and we've come a long way. And I'm glad to see that at My Digital Shield that you are truly platform independent and browser independent. You work with any platform, any browser, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, again, the website is www.mydigitalshield.com. Again, you can see the link at computeramerica.com. Andrew, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Very enlightening. And we should have you back, in a few months and just see how things are coming along with your company.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and I'll be happy to come back anytime.
All right, Andrew. Thanks for being with us here tonight. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so that again, mydigitalshield.com. You can check it out for yourself, or go to our website at computeramerica.com and check them out. Coming up in hour 2, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. I just got all of the news stories, so I'm loading them up as we speak. Don't forget, of course, our contest, our Logitech contest, finishes this Friday. That's right. So if you're you need to go to our contest page at computeramerica.com, and you can see everything there for yourself. And get your entry in now, before Friday, because at Friday at midnight Eastern Time we shut it down. Then over the weekend we'll draw the 3 winning names, and then on Monday we'll announce the 3 big winners at our contest. And again, you can check out all the prizes and everything on our contest page at computeramerica.com. You can see them all for yourself, including that brand new Logitech speaker, that Bluetooth speaker. It is the XP 300, the Logitech X300, valued at $70, and you get to pick the color too. Isn't that nice? All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Business Talk Radio Network, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We got another hour and another News Tips Bulletin all coming up. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. Woo-hoo! You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And if you just joined us, we were just talking to My Digital Shield. We had Andrew Bagrin, the CEO of the company, on the program. If you missed any portion of the show, or you didn't hear it and you would like to hear it, because it really has a unique product, just head over to ComputerAmerica.com. Just go to our homepage, and right there at the top of the screen, you'll see it says Archives. Just click that, and you'll see all of our archives. You can there's the Blog Talk Radio archive. You'll be able to listen to it there. We also have it on iTunes. It'll open up a web page, so you can listen to it on the website, or it'll open up your copy of iTunes, and you can listen to it and download any of our shows that we have here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. We archive all of our programs, and of course, we archive all of the videos. We have our own YouTube channel, so you just click on that, and you'll be able to see any of the videos that we have, any of the shows that we've had where we do the video streaming, and that's basically all of them. We've been doing this now for quite some time. So anything and everything is available. That's what I say. Anything and everything having to do with the Computer America Show, just go to our website. All of the information you need is there for you to enjoy, and listen to. So anything else you want to mention before we start doing some computer news stories?
No, I think we should just jump right into it.
All right. Well, let's jump on in. Tonight's Computer and Technology News is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, Kimosabe, you heard me. Free. That's right. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website, it's absolutely free. It's not a freemium model, or use it for a while and then upgrade. It's not crippled in any way. After 10 days, you have to get the full version. None of that. Everything at the slimwareutilities.com website is completely free, and they will clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Download them all. This is my advice. Just download them all. Even if you don't use them immediately, have them in your toolbox, ready to help you if you need that assistance. It'll be there, okay? So when you need them, you can run them. And then once you start using them, you're just going to let them run in the background because they really keep everything running at the full speed. We use them here at the Crossman household. Check them out. Download them all. SlimwareUtilities.com. You'll be glad that you did, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. So, Ben, since you had a little longer at looking at this, why don't you pick the first story, and we'll go with that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? How about this story that involves IBM, and apparently they're going through some kind of restructuring.
IBM?
Yeah, IBM.
I've
So
been,
their chip business is going bye-bye.
I've been manipulated. Okay, all right.
Okay. So Global Foundries is buying IBM's chip business for a whopping negative $1.5 billion.
Negative?
Yep. So think you could sell ice to an Eskimo? Hey, that would be an impressive demonstration of your ability to make a sale, though it pales in comparison to Global Foundries' deal with IBM. As odd as it may sound on the surface, IBM today announced that it is offloading its semiconductor business to Global Foundries, along with $1.5 billion in cash to be paid over the next 3 years.
Wait a minute. They sold their company to another company and are
Global Foundries.
Global Foundries, and they're paying them to do so.
Yep.
To the tune of $1.5 billion.
Yeah, apparently they didn't have my numbers, so they did to Global Foundries instead of me. But
who worked out this deal?
So, yep, you read that right. IBM is essentially paying Global Foundries to take control of its chip business. On top of that, IBM will go through its previously announced $3 billion investment over 5 years for semiconductor technology research, of which Global Foundries will have primary access to. So that's on top of a $3 billion research fund.
Who did this deal?
I know, it's an unusual move, and on the surface, one would be excused for thinking IBM had gone and lost his marbles.
Yeah, I want them
However,
a deal for us,
IBM can justify the transaction because of 2 reasons.
Okay.
Quote, while IBM has world-class technology and intellectual property, the company has lacked scale.
Mm-hmm.
As a subscale business, IBM's microelectronic business has been generating losses.
Mm-hmm.
The semiconductor business has become a burden on IBM. By getting rid of it, IBM plans to further focus on fundamental semiconductor research and the development of future cloud, mobile, big data analytics, and secure transaction optimization systems.
Okay.
Part of the deal, Global Foundries gains all kinds of intellectual property, including thousands of patents.
Mm-hmm.
The acquisition solidifies Global Foundries' leadership position in semiconductor technology, development, and manufacturing, said the CEO of Global Foundries. We can now offer our customers a broader range of differentiated leading-edge 3D transistors and RF technologies, also improve our design ecosystem, yada, yada, yada. IBM posted a profit of $3.5 billion for its fiscal third quarter by 2014, down 17% from 4.1. Straight to the point, IBM CEO said that, quote, we are disappointed in our performance, noting a marked slowdown in client buying behavior during the month of September.
But this doesn't explain it. How do...
Sure does.
Why not just drop the company? Why pay somebody to take something to just let it go?
Because they own a ton of patents, and they're going to obviously keep some kind of stake in Global Foundries. but IBM is not going to, like, if the semiconductors still post a loss, those losses are going to be listed under Global Foundry books. They're not going to be under IBM anymore. So now IBM, sure, they may be smaller and they may have to pay, this little bit of money, and I say a little bit, this little bit, it's $1.5 billion. They're probably going to be making way more than that over the next, 3 years, and they're going to look like they're earning much, much bigger profits. So as a company, they're going to look much stronger if they drop their semiconductor, and they still get that option to, continue the research and continue, still having a horse in the race. It's just, for the mere price of $1.5 billion, they don't have to post the losses anymore.
Wow, I am.
This is high business here. This is not, hey, let's let the kids have the dog. Why not? This is high business.
It's higher than I.
There are smarter people than we that are dealing with this, and if the smarter people concur that giving away part of your business and then giving money and then giving research money is the proper way to do it, I'm sure they've.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're IBM. They have the supercomputers to do it.
Yeah, I'm still in awe of this story, but okay.
It makes sense though.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
How do you not get it?
They're paying them $1.3 billion to take something.
$1.5 billion.
Yeah, to take their company.
Yeah, because it's posting losses.
Drop the company. Don't pay somebody to take it.
But all those patents that would otherwise just be abolished, and then it just becomes crazy out there.
You keep the patents, drop the company, and then maybe.
And then they're still posting losses for keeping up thousands of patents.
No, you don't keep paying for patents. You
do. You do an upkeep. I think it's every 18 months.
Hmm.
They're still having another company continue the research. They have already set aside $3 billion to invest over 5 years. So they're still doing the research. They're still having that portion of their business continue. It's just under another company.
Yeah. Okay. I still don't get it, but okay.
I mean, what happens in 5 years when they make a deal and and they hand it back over?
Well, will they? Is that part of the deal that if they make a lot of money, then the global?
Doesn't say here, but I mean, there's no reason not to expect something like that.
It would have to be. I mean, otherwise it would make absolutely no sense. But okay.
In the end, IBM is going to look much stronger without a big portion of their business, drawing losses every quarter.
Okay.
And you got to admit, stock prices, they make a difference.
Okay. Well, let's get back to the world of consumer electronics and things that we can understand, which is what we.
IBM is in the world of consumer electronics.
No, I don't know. They got out of that.
IBM?
They don't make personal computers anymore, do they? Okay.
They have commercials you see on TV. They're consumer enough.
Okay. This again from our buddy Paul Lilly over at Maximum PC. According to the story, Amped Wireless launches a high-power AC adapter to get this to double your Wi-Fi range. This is a simple looking little device. It's really no more than it looks like a USB dongle with an antenna on it. But according to him, you're going to be able to extend your Wi-Fi range. He says the further you get from your wireless router and the more obstacles that are in the way, the weaker the signal. Yes, that's especially true if you're connecting on the 5 gigahertz band. It doesn't penetrate objects as well as the 2.4 gigahertz band. So what do you do when there's a dead spot in your home or the surrounding area? Well, there are several possibilities. One of them being a more powerful Wi-Fi adapter. Okay. On the topic, Amped Wireless says its new UA230A high-powered Wi-Fi USB adapter can offer up to 2 times the distance of your current adapter.
2 times? That's twice, folks.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, now the UA230A, that's what we're talking about, supports high-power amplifiers and a high-gain 3 dBi antenna to help blast through walls for superior Wi-Fi performance. It's also based on the next generation 802.11 AC wireless technology, though limited to 433 megabits per second on the 5 gigahertz band and 150 megabits per second on the 2.4 gigahertz band. It's actually advertised as AC 600, which is a combination of those two speeds. Now, Paul goes on to say, in our experience, where things like this come in handy the most is when traveling and staying at a hotel. He says, bear in mind we haven't tested this particular adapter. He says, while things in general are getting better, it's not uncommon to experience a crummy Wi-Fi signal in your room. That is so true. Now, Amped Wireless is accepting pre-orders for its UA230A adapter for $50, and it's going to ship out on Halloween, October 31st. And then you too can have a better Wi-Fi signal. And this, I mean, and look, this is a cute little device. I've seen Wi-Fi extenders, but they plug into the wall, and then you have to log on. They're actually, they have their own SSID. This looks to be very, very simple. This just plugs into your computer and boosts the existing Wi-Fi ability in your existing computer, and it looks very, very simplistic. You don't need to have an alternative SSID. It all works with your existing Wi-Fi adapter that you have in your computer.
And it just looks like another antenna that you plug into a USB.
Exactly, but it's more than that, because it says it has amplification. It has high power amplifiers and it built into it as well. It's just not an antenna. This is a system that really works on boosting your Wi-Fi range. It actually doubles it. And you need more than an antenna, and it's a very short antenna too. I wouldn't say it looks no more than maybe 4 inches. I would say, if that, yeah, about 4 inches, given the size of it. And
I mean, it's gonna be noticeable, but I mean, it's not gonna be unwieldy.
No, yeah, and it looks like it pivots too, so you can angle it. It's something that's
Oh yeah, you gotta point it at the router.
Well, you don't point it at. You just standing.
No, you tune it in. You sit there and you look at your computer, and when the snow goes away, you have it in the right direction.
Yep. So, and for $50, I think that's very reasonable. I think this is something that would be.
That was a rabbit ears joke. You didn't catch it.
No, what was that? I missed it.
You point it in the right direction, and the snow goes away, and then you know you have it in the right.
That's not a TV antenna. It's a Wi-Fi antenna.
Okay, so if you're looking for a way to boost your signal, there are tools out there. There are repeaters, there are boosters, extenders, whatever you want to call them, and then there's this gadget, which is simplistic to say the least. But I mean, if it's simple and it works, why not?
Yep. Okay.
I have like a small little snippet of a story, and then I have another story. The small little snippet of a story is apparently Taylor Swift. She's a pop country music singer. Her new album is highly anticipated, to say the least. People are going insane for it, and they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting, and it turns out that she released her new album, and there's a mysterious track 3 on there.
Oh, really?
And track 3 is 8 seconds long and is white noise.
Okay, so it's like.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, whatever happens in the recording studio and no one's singing, that's the noise that you get. So track 3 is currently on the Canadian Top 100 Billboard, or whatever the Canadian version of that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an iTunes glitch, and it's $1.30 to buy the 8-second clip, and it's currently #1.
And it's just nothing but white noise?
It's nothing but white noise. It's obviously someone chose the wrong audio track, and someone messed up. And currently, Taylor Swift's #1, track #3, is the hit of the Canadian charts.
That's right up there with IBM paying $1.3 billion to take its company.
People are excited. They're excited, and they didn't listen to it, and they were like, "Oh, look, new Taylor Swift! Oh, it's finally out!" And then they listen to it, and it's 8 seconds of static. They're
Is Apple refunding the purchases?
Apple hasn't said anything about it. I mean, should Apple refund it? I mean,
Yeah.
sure, but I mean, you can listen to it before you buy it.
Well, that's true. You get to listen to it, but maybe people thought, because
What do they think they're gonna get with the track number 3?
some sort of music, something.
8 seconds is music. It could be a, I don't know, social experiment.
You're really reaching that.
I'm just saying they had the choice to listen to it. I'm thinking the majority, if not everyone who bought it and sent it to the number 1, didn't, and they just saw new Taylor Swift and they, went and did that. But hey, it's Apple hasn't said anything, Taylor Swift hasn't said anything. But
Did you send me the story? Because I can't even find it.
no, I didn't send it to you.
Oh no, okay.
No, I just found this. This was besides tech stores. This is just kind of funny.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so,
I wouldn't put it past. It's possible.
I mean, it wasn't a way to swindle out as much money as they can from stupid people. I'm sure it was a legitimate glitch, and people just kind of jumped the gun and bought it.
Okay.
I'm sure if you call Apple and complain, they might help you out.
You find they get your 99 cents back?
$1.29 actually.
$1.29.
It was one of the expensive songs.
Ah, okay.
So no, but the actual story that I want to do next for computer and technology news is Nielsen. They do things with television and they tell you what everyone's watching.
Do I have this story?
Yes, you do. Nielsen will soon rate everything on the web, from videos to articles.
Okay.
Yep, that's right. So the Nielsen ratings have long held huge sway over the business of television, but television isn't like it used to be. So on Tuesday, today, Nielsen announced its rating system to all kinds of digital content to give both its creators and advertisers a more meaningful way to measure popularity in the online era.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig, be ready for a discussion about this because this ties into what we were talking about tonight.
Okay.
So the most striking development in Adobe's new system is that it's designed for comparing separate kinds of content. Disparate.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Kinds of content. The new ratings, Nielsen says, can rank an online video next to a podcast next to an article. Unlike television or radio, the internet isn't a medium that funnels just one format. The aim of Nielsen's new ratings is to create a context to figure out what people care about online, regardless of what form it takes.
Good news. I mean, it's good news because, as you know, if you're an advertiser and you buy an ad on a TV show or something, because Nielsen is TV, Arbitron is radio, but if you buy Nielsen, it's TV. It's hard to measure. Everything is return on investment these days, ROI, and advertisers want to know that, and it's been fairly hard to track that because people. When you send out a broadcast signal, there's no feedback unless you become a Nielsen family and they give you a little box and they put it in your TV.
And then, and then even then, they only send that to a small sample of the population, and then they extrapolate the data.
Yeah, and it's very, very inaccurate. But it's all we've had until I guess recently.
Yep. So the online rating system will combine Nielsen's formulas with data from Adobe's online traffic measuring and internet TV software. Many of the largest traditional TV networks have already signed up, including ESPN or ESPN, Univision, Sony, Viacom, and Turner Broadcasting. That's some big names there.
Mm-hmm.
While such a roster might sound like a list of clients who mostly want to know their shows are doing online, Adobe Product Management Director Ashley Still points out that networks like ESPN is about a lot more than shows.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of ESPN.com, they get a lot of traffic and they sell a lot of advertising. And little of that traffic is for what could be considered traditional TV. The site brims with articles and short-form video. A similar case could be made for CNN, which is owned by Turner. This is not just about watching ESPN. This is definitely about all content types. So what she means by that is, if you've ever been to the ESPN, I have friends that go there all the time. They don't go there to stream the games. They go there to check out statistics. They go there to check out articles. They go there to check out highlights. They do everything on ESPN.com than watching games on ESPN.
You know why they do that, don't you?
to keep you coming back, to sell advertising, page refreshes.
Well, yeah, but you know why people are doing that?
Why is that?
Why people are going to ESPN, download and the statistics and everything? They're gamblers. They have money right on a game. They want to predict the best they can to find the winning team. So they're gambling.
Greg, have you ever heard of a new phenomenon called fantasy football?
Yes, of course.
That is not always gambled upon.
No, it's not. But a lot of people, they do gamble on it. I know they have fantasy football teams in the office, and whoever puts together they have money riding on it. It's all part of gambling. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's the reason people want to get more accuracy in their.
I can't say that it's 100% gambling.
You can't put a lot of.
I can't even say majority is gambling.
Yeah, I would think.
I think people like to follow their teams and they like to do that. Not everyone who watches football is a gambler.
But that's
not even the majority of people who watch football are gamblers.
But those people aren't really interested in the statistics. They're just watching the game. They watch.
Have you ever met someone who watches football? They're insane.
Well, then that's probably because they have some money riding on the game.
No, they don't. The majority of visit ESPN.com are not gamblers. That is not something Computer America endorses.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. But a majority of the people,
but I'm saying exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I say you're entitled to yours, and I'm saying that most of the people who really get into the intricacies of the game usually have money riding on it.
Okay. Well, from my sample selection of the 15 people I know that use fantasy football, they don't gamble with it.
Okay.
They just really like the sports, they really like the teams, and they really like the players.
Okay, all right.
So my sample size is for young adults, and they don't gamble with it. Okay. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying that the people who use ESPN, they're not always gamblers. Anyways, that's besides the point. Putting the pieces back together as the article continues about the Nielsen ratings and the internet, but with the difficulty of the medium like the internet, capable of delivering so many content types, is how to compare those types to one another. Traditional TV ratings made a kind of intuitive sense, since it's all about who was watching and when, at least until DVRs came along and muddied everything. Very true. But the profound fracturing of the media landscape unleashed by the internet has forced a deep rethinking of the concept of popularity itself. Is popular on the internet a number of clicks, page views, unique visitors, length of time on the since scrolled, page visits, how many times a video is watched through the end, how many times an ad turns into an online purchase? Such uncertainty is the source of deep unease across media and entertainment worlds. Ain't that the truth?
Yep.
Not the industries that buy the ads that fund them. If how to measure popularity isn't obvious, how can anyone know what an ad is worth?
Sure.
And it's very true. And quote, we are getting a lot wrong about the web these days of Chartbeat. We confuse what people have clicked on for what they've read. We mistake sharing for reading. We race towards new trends like native advertising without fixing what was wrong with the old ones and make the same mistakes all over again. By pulling together data from online TV and video, games, audio, and text across the device used to consume all the content, Nielsen and Adobe are looking for a way to take all of those fragments and piece them together to create a picture that makes sense the way old media did. Whether it will work is a separate question, but the impetus to try won't go away soon. The old way made a lot of people in old media a lot of money. If someone can approximate the old way for new media, maybe more of that money will start rolling in, just like it used to.
Yeah. Well, they bring up several good points. But it's like, what makes a hit record? It's really difficult to define. And with all this new media, I mean, the old ways, it was pretty straightforward and really not that accurate, but it didn't make a lot of money for people. Now, people want more accuracy in their determinations of what they're going to buy, and obviously Adobe, which I only used to think made Photoshop.
Adobe has hands in everything.
Yeah, they are. They're making the software that's trying to assimilate, number of clicks, page views, unique visitors, how much time you spent on a website, how many people are coming back. I mean, these are all salient points that can be measured, but we don't know which are if any are more important than the other, or maybe they're not, or maybe it's a combination of them. And that's what Adobe is trying to do, is trying to find some magic formula that's going to make a more accurate determination, and then gets passed along to advertisers. Whether it's going to work or not, we don't know.
It's always so confusing because, I mean, like, let's take a site like, Computer America or CNN or some media outlet. Page views for them, let's take advertising and the banner ads and compare that to, say, a website like the Home Depot or Lowe's or what have you. People go into Home Depot or Lowe's online, they're way more likely to make a purchase because you can make a purchase on Home Depot as compared to Computer America. I mean, page views for Home Depot would be a lot better than page views for Computer America, whereas downloads for us are more important than for Home Depot.
Well, Home Depot is selling things, so they want you're clicking, you're looking.
So I mean, like, you can track all this stuff, and some and some sites may perform better in page views and clicks than others, but I mean, unless you know what kind of people you're looking for and what you're targeting, I mean, you may be getting a lot of page, but if you're looking for unique visitors, it's you're getting the wrong amount of people. So
Home Depot as a website appeals to a different type of person than like the average person who's looking at. Home Depot is targeting people who are looking to for home improvement and construction, as opposed to CNN, which can be anybody who's interested in the news. Home Depot is more targeted, it's more vertical in its market than CNN is.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So
no, it's so you can track all these things and what they mean to different people, and especially advertisers. And we at Computer America know all too well that advertisers, they're all over the place and what they want, and and numbers and that kind of thing. But if Nielsen is getting into this, and it's crazy how quick this is kind of turning around on us, we might have to continue this discussion on the other side of the break. But Craig, do you remember what we were talking about last night?
We talked about a lot of things last night.
We talked about television and how cable companies are going by the wayside and internet TV.
Yeah. And that's good because the next story is going to deal with that with Roku. They're predicting.
Well, I want to finish with this one.
Internet TV will soon be the only TV. Hey, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Have a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
You were expecting me, of course. It's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the V-Alert. That's V.ALRT. The V-Alert 100-day emergency alert. On the black disc is about the size of New York peppermint patty and seems Bluetooth is powered by a 2032 coin cell. Unscrew the case, halves to replace it. It comes with a wristband and a small rubber belt band. Options for carrying or wearing it. The V-Alert Personal Emergency Alert Device, VSN400A, gets paired with your Android or iOS smartphone, and you tailor its functions. Text and phone alerts can go to up to 3 contacts, sending the message you create, and linked to a map of your location. You can let it detect a fall, then automatically send an alert 60 seconds later, giving you time to cancel it if it was an oops and not an ouch. A long squeeze manually triggers an alert. You get notified if you're out of range, and when you're in range, there's a mode that makes the disk beep and flash to help you find it. The application and disk can be separately silenced with separate control over sounds and lights. Bottom line, if there is any danger of getting into trouble where the right people knowing it can get you out, a V-Alert VSN400A personal emergency alert device can be an effective and nimble ally. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Of course we were expecting you, Marty Winston. Why would you say that in the beginning? Welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are doing news right now, computer technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. And, we just finished an article about Nielsen and how they are traditionally television are going to switch over and try to tame the internet and put a fixed number on it.
Yep.
So I think we're going to let Craig do this next story about internet television, and then we're going to probably talk about what we talked about last night with a new perspective on, is television going to end soon?
Yeah, and that's a great topic. And this story from Wired is leaning toward the answer of yes to that question that Penn asks, and that is, they say, as online viewing soars, internet TV will soon be the only TV. This is according to Marcus Wolstein. Came out today on Wired. And it says more people are watching TV online than ever. A lot more. Viewers may not be cutting the cable cord altogether, but growth in the number who want to watch TV over a different set of pipes is surging, according to a new report from Adobe. There's Adobe again. And it's interesting because we have all these vectors that are coming into the home today. We have electricity, and we have water, and we have gas, and then we have things like our telephone, and we have our TV, but it looks like a lot of these incoming vectors to our home are getting cut and being replaced by the internet. So the internet is now providing our phone service, and the internet looks like it's providing our TV service, and the internet is replacing so many of the old traditional vectors coming into the average household. And of course, with the advent of broadband and becoming more prolific, you're finding it. You're finding that people are, and because of the deals, and people are getting tired of paying. I mean, I was paying $290 for my 2 phone lines, every single month. $290. It's all gone. I use the Ooma now. I pay nothing. I'm paying my 1 internet fee, and that's it.
VoIP, and people find using their cell phones or something like Skype or Google Voice, why would you?
Or Ooma. Ooma is one of the best as far as I'm concerned. It's an amazing product. So continuing on the story, if anyone was still wondering why HBO planned to offer an online-only option, the trend is clear. The internet is where people want to watch. It's also where people want to listen, too, quite frankly. Okay. In more and more...
I see what you did there.
Well, yeah. Okay, see what I did? In more online TV isn't a geeky novelty. a side light to the traditional version. It's just what TV looks like now. And as Ben mentioned, radio is the same way. Radio is fighting to stay alive. People don't crowd around the radio in the living room anymore. They listen.
Yes, I remember the old pictures of the 40s with the children on the floor, grandparents in the rocking chair, mom and dad cuddling on the couch.
That didn't happen anymore. Yes, we still listen to the radio in our cars, but even that's being replaced with satellite and other internet alternatives.
Satellite, and not only that, but people take their smartphones and things like that and hook them up or connect them, and they aren't even listening to anything. They're listening to their phones.
Their phones, right? And that's all via the internet, the stuff they've downloaded. People want a time shift. If they're listening to talk radio, they want to listen to it at their time, their convenience. And that's just the way that's what's happening in the world. Things are getting away from the old ways that we used to do things. And that's not necessarily a bad thing,
Well, you got to figure that what was it? 60 years ago, internet was king. 30 years ago, TV was king. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like technology. It's not like we're debunking printed media. Printed books that have been around for a couple thousand years. I mean, this is technology that's just come into being in the past generations. We're not crumbling some giant empire here.
That's true. Well, Adobe now is in the position to know, because its software runs the platform that nearly all U.S. cable customers use to log into the online versions of their subscriptions, according to Adobe. Researchers tracked 165 online video views and 1.53 billion logins over a year. And they found that the total TV viewing over the internet grew by 388% in mid-2014 compared to the same time a year earlier. It's snowballing. It's getting bigger. That's almost 4 times the amount. A near quintupling. And the increase is more than just a few diehards binge watching, which is fun, by the way, to do. The number of unique viewers well more than doubled, growing 146% year over year. Eventually, cable will follow the bunny ears. Remember the rabbit ears? The bunny ears? Into the basement of dead technology. And online TV will be called something else. Plain old TV. It won't be online TV. It's true. I mean, I remember when finally the analog TV signal went away. That was by federal mandate. You can't buy rabbit ears anymore because they're useless. Everything out there is digital now.
Yeah. No more over-the-air.
Not really.
Broadcast is all digital.
Well, you can get digital over the air, but it's only a couple of local channels at best. And I don't know how long that's going to go, because those local channels are going to eventually realize, it's not worth it. It was like radio. They had high definition radio. I don't know if you remember that. When we went to California on a trip, we rented a car. It had high definition radio. I don't know if you know this. And so basically, on one station, one frequency, you could go above and below, and you get 2 different channels, often the same channel but different ones. But the radios that are required to do that are few and far between. And I think it's a fad, and I think that's eventually going to die out. I think if not already, if it hasn't already died out. According to an analyst, 3 factors are driving this growth: more apps and sites for watching, more content to watch on those apps and sites, and the World Cup. Sports act as a kind of appetizer, whetting viewers' appetites for the flexibility and breadth of online TV. Let's face it, a lot of these things that you can't get on your local because they're blacked out, that doesn't happen when you have an internet connection. You can get them. You can watch them. The World Cup was an especially strong lure because the internet was the only way to watch so many games that traditional TV lacked the bandwidth to show. But she also said once viewers came for sports, then they stayed for everything else. Okay. I guess sports was how they got the foot in the door. Well, no, great movies also is a great way to get the foot in the door, too. Households generally connect because of sports, she says, but then when they start to use online television, they start to branch out. So the story continues on. According to Adobe, viewers have branched out so much that for the first time, viewers watched more movies online than sports. There you go. The average was 4.5 movies per month versus 2 a year ago. Viewing of episodic television over the internet also a sharp increase. That's what we call binge watching. Now you can watch a whole series. The jump is all the more remarkable since Adobe's survey doesn't include the mainstreaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu. It doesn't include them. Wow. In other words, many people still paying for cable are less interested in watching TV in the cable way and more in the way Netflix has led viewers to come to expect. When you want to really binge view something you didn't know you wanted to watch until the season was over, you're going to turn to the online option of watching all these things. That's very true. The turn toward online TV, however, hasn't entirely meant to turn away from the television itself. In fact, the increase in the share of use for internet TV watching devices such as the Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, those types of devices. Where a year ago they accounted for just 3% of online TV viewing, they now account for 10%. These devices all pipe TV from the internet to the big screen, and the one thing viewers are still most eager to watch there is sports, according to this article. During the Olympics and the World Cup, people wanted to watch on the big screen in their living room, and so they used those devices. Now, it goes on to say, but unlike traditional TV, the appeal of the online version is that it doesn't require viewers to commit to a single piece of hardware. More than half of all online TV viewing happens on iOS apps, according to Adobe's figures, and the consultant believes that the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus's larger screens will only cement Apple's place as a platform of choice for online TV. Apple's timing appears to be good as smartphones driven by the embrace of tablets start to surpass tablets as the online video viewing device of choice, according to Adobe's findings. Remember we had Intel on talking about that phone that plugs into the tablet, which that's a very cool solution. I think perfect for this type of thing. Because the Adobe report covers TV watching by viewers who aren't paying for cable, it's hard to read the result as a sign that more cord cutting is coming. But getting viewers habituated to the internet way of watching TV could hasten a less aggregated future. One where customers may prefer the more personalized services of an HBO-only login, for example, versus the one for their entire cable package. Big loser would seem to be broadcast TV, since the traditional way the broadcast networks spread the news about their new shows is on their networks. For people watching TV online, those are the ads they'll never see. What they're more likely to see is chatter on social media. If a new show generates enough buzz, wannabe viewers can track down old episodes online and binge watch to catch up. More and more, this is the way it is now, and there's no reason that trend will stop. Eventually, cable will follow the bunny ears into the basement of dead technology, and online TV will be called something else, just plain old TV. Interesting article.
Yeah, and totally agree.
Yeah, it's prophetic. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's going to be it.
Now, I mean, in full clarity, the two stories that we just did are from the same website, so obviously, they're going to work together or mesh together really well.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes well with what we were talking about yesterday, where broadcast television is on the decline. Cord cutters are increasing, people who are doing away with their cable packages altogether and just going with internet, and subscription for Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime are going even higher. I mean, the trend is obviously internet is king. Watch whatever you want and binge watch it a la carte, and you don't have to wait for you don't have to wait for Thursdays at 8, on Fox.
It's true for all media. We're talking TV, but it's also broadcast media. Any traditional broadcast.
Radio, podcasts have reached higher numbers than radio ever did.
Yep, and it's continuing to grow. the listeners want to listen what they want when they want to listen to it, and
I think the big thing is
hauling out the guide isn't cut it anymore.
Yeah, well, I think another big thing is that because the internet is kind of new for advertisers, Nielsen's just getting into it, so advertisers weren't really they didn't really know how to advertise on it, and a few companies are doing it wrong, like Hulu. They've shoved ads in your face until you can't see straight. But I mean, it's the thing I think people like about the internet is that there is there's much less advertising. I mean, you can use things like AdBlock Plus to reduce advertising, and ads in general on content. If there are too many ads on content, like you're watching a YouTube video and it breaks every 30 seconds for an ad, you're not going to watch that. No. So it stifles it, and when it does that, it kind of leads to people finding content that is devoid of ads. Now that's going to have to turn, that model's going to have to change. But I think right now what's causing people to flock to the internet and internet-based entertainment is that there are so very, very there's so many less ads on the internet than there are on TV, on radio, in magazines, and there's just less ads.
And I think that the networks that are trying to use this force technology, forcing people to watch the ads, you can't fast forward. Yeah, I think that's like copyright protection. I think that eventually is going to go away. People will
things like that. No, but like Netflix, they've never pushed an ad to you before, and yet they're turning bigger profits than ever. I think that most companies are going to have to do that. They're going to have to become distributors, just like Netflix, and either they're going to have to push it through Netflix or start their own service, but they're going to have to rely on a monthly, like a monthly fee kind of deal. And they're going to have to find their money in a subscription-based service rather than, here's our channel, we're going to put ads on it, and you get it for free. That won't fly. It's going to have to be, you're going to have to pay for it, and hopefully they make it simple, easy to use, and, low on ads, and I don't think people are going to have a problem using it. I mean, cable is definitely going away. Maybe not in the next 5 years, maybe not in the next 10 years, but it's, the writing is on the wall. The trends are internet is king. So, I mean, we're also going to have to see how internet advertising is going to change.
Yeah.
Because, they're not going to take the pay cut. They're obviously going to try to make their money somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. And there are a lot of opportunities, probably more so on the internet than on broadcast. I mean, there are other things that they can do. There are other ways of getting ads. They can make little windows pop up. The things that they can do,
Yeah. But I mean, I mean, there aren't what we consider traditional. Like an ad every 10. A block of ads every 10 minutes. Like you can't do that on Netflix.
No.
Netflix would just tank.
Yes, it would, and they're not doing it. Even on programs like ours, I mean, we have one block of ads.
2 commercial breaks.
Yeah, 2 commercial breaks. Technically, it's in 2 hours. It's 1 per hour, so that's really it. That's what we're talking about here, and that seems to be the most successful. But and again, there's so many other ways you can have. As I said, you can be listening to the content and something can pop up and it doesn't interfere with the audio portion that you're listening to. I mean, there's many different ways of doing it. The bottom line is, I agree. We're heading into the next generation of broadcast media, and its name is the internet.
And it's no longer television and radio. It's now podcast and streaming content, and YouTube is going to be a big player in this kind of thing.
Sure.
It's YouTube channels, like they still call them channels, but they're individuals that can start channels and be just as big, if not bigger, than the than other well-established names. So.
Exactly, but there'll still be a demand for original content. I mean, Netflix will have. I mean, you want your House of Cards, whatever. I mean, there will be original series, and they'll just be now available on the internet to watch, or the HBO Go, or whatever it is they're going to have. They'll have original content, original series, original content, and it'll be on the internet. And our TVs won't go away. I mean, it'll just.
They're turning into smart TVs. They're not even going away.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they'll be able to look at all this content. The TVs that you're buying even today now are really equipped to handle most all of these different things. And if they aren't, you can buy a little gizmo that plugs it into it that gives the ability.
Yeah, it's
Well,
no. I was just gonna say that where the internet is king and it's kind of pushing all these out. It's not exactly edging out the competition. It's fully replacing it. I mean, it's not leaving your TV high and dry. It's like, oh great, now I have this useless 60-inch television.
yeah, no.
Not at all. Now you just repurpose it for a different source of content.
Yeah. Hey, there's this little story that I'd like to do.
No, wait, I have one.
What? Okay. Go ahead.
What story were you gonna do?
The MIT Technology Review? I thought it was kind of...
No, not that one.
Which?
DSL.
Okay, do it.
DSL is a quote-unquote old technology. It's not broadband, and broadband is currently what is pushing the higher speeds. But it turns out DSL may not be dead yet. This article from CNET, lowly DSL poised for gigabit speed boost. Internet service providers are getting a new option called G.fast that can extend the lifespan of existing copper phone lines yet again.
Mm-hmm.
DSL is one of the first widely adopted technologies for bringing high-speed internet into the home and business, but it hasn't been the fastest.
I remember when DSL came available. I mean, it was wonderful because we saw stuff.
I know, you got like 6 megabits per second. That was
amazing. Yeah, wow. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But then broadband came out with fiber optics, and it just blew it out of the water.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, the one thing DSL had going for it was if your electricity goes out, you still have internet and phone. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's all changing. At the Broadband World Forum in Amsterdam, several companies are announcing that and demonstrating products that bring DSL into a future with a speed of 1 gigabit per second.
Wow.
1,000 times the data transfer speed and the technology offered when it arrived in the late 90s. The DSL upgrade comes through a new technology called G.fast. Among those making network equipment chips to enable the technology are industry giant Broadcom, China, whatever. The technology itself should arrive at home starting in 2016. The reason people want fast internet, self-obvious. We're consuming more data all the time, and we need the higher bandwidths.
Sure.
In many countries, and just like the U.S., cable TV wiring has led the way for high-speed broadband. And when Google decided it wanted its high-tech future, it picked an even faster fiber optic lines for 1 gigabit per second today. That's all given a bad rep for DSL, which uses the phone system's twisted pairs of copper wires that are susceptible to radio frequency interference. Mm-hmm. With G.fast, internet service providers and carriers will get a new way to give a new speed boost to DSL. And even though the upgrade will be expensive, it's necessary. DSL upgrades have at least one big advantage. They're an upgrade to a network that already exists.
Yes.
Much of the world doesn't have cable TV infrastructure at all, and still less of it is fiber optic connections. Phone networks, though, are widely used and cover about 422 million DSL subscribers globally in 2013. So, and how fast that goes and things like that. Yeah. But safe to say that DSL still widely used and widely accessible, and it looks like it's going to be getting a speed boost.
Well, yeah, I mean, traditional still have phone lines, and the copper wiring is still basically the main, because infrastructure for over 100 years. So it's in place, and if they can get a gigabit speeds using twisted pair copper wiring, that's incredible. I mean, to be able to do that, and so that's going to be a good solution for many people who just can't get broadband wherever they, and even for the people who can. Quite frankly, if your phone company can come back to you now and you have cable modems, what have you, and they say, hey, we can give you a gigabit now, what's that going to do to the competition? Cable modems are going to have to step up their game to match that. Would you
it's they're gonna have to step up their game. I mean, if DSL were to go by the wayside, I don't think DSL as a technology is is spent or used or being outdated by fiber optic and cable.
Mhm.
But I mean, DSL it did need an upgrade, so this is it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it still has uses. Well, yeah, let's face it.
Okay, exactly. Well, I think that about wraps up the show tonight. Again, want to thank our guests from My Digital Shield being here on the show. Thanks to them for being with us here. Tomorrow night, we're going to have, again, as I said, it's a schedule change. We had TrueTac Technologies. They're going to be moving to a different time, coming back sometime in November. But WeMagine is going to be, and we're going to be talking about the smart drive. In other words, again, it's privacy. Nothing on the computer, nothing on the USB device, and unlimited cloud storage. This is a little device. It's a USB. It looks like a USB stick, and basically you get all of these things. You get the ultimate in privacy just by plugging this little this little USB device into your computer. And we're going to have Eric Schmidt, who is the CEO of the company, going to be joining us tomorrow night. It should be an interesting program. It's I'm sorry. We're going to have the Steve Kim, who is the creator of the WeMagine, join us on the show tomorrow night. With all these speeds and all these things happening,
90 seconds.
We're getting a lot more companies with these little simple plug-in devices that do. It'll work with any public PC. It works instantly. You just plug it in. It's built military tough. I mean, this is a really cool little device, and we're going to have them on the show tomorrow night in the first hour. And then in hour 2, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So that's all coming up on tomorrow night's show.
60 seconds.
I think you're right. The internet is the future of TV and broadcast radio.
It's so weird that we ended up here, isn't it? That we kind of landed on the internet.
Yeah, it is.
So strange.
It's strange. Don't forget our Logitech contest ends at the end of this week. Head over to our website at computeramerica.com and go to our contest page. It's right under the Interact pull-down menu, and you'll see our Logitech contest. Get your entry in. It closes this Friday at midnight tonight Eastern Time, and then we'll draw the 3 winning names on Monday. Anyway, have a great evening, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night with WeMagine. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
10 seconds.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody. Thanks again for watching the show. We're glad to have you, and I guess we got WeMagine coming tomorrow night, and it should be a fun show. We look forward to having you join us tomorrow. So until then, next time.